Over the years, Subaru has delivered the most popular rally car of all time, one of the most popular budget sports cars, and many other vehicles known for outstanding practicality. Under the hood of most of them are boxer engines, a very unique configuration. Subaru's engines have been what separates them from other manufacturers and gives their vehicles character. That said, not all of them are equal. So today, we'll be ranking every Subaru engine in a tier list format to find out which of them are the source of all the Subaru jokes and which are noteworthy in their capabilities. So let's get started. This video will be going by increasing number of cylinders, so we'll kick things off with Subaru's one and only two-cylinder engine. The EK was originally an air-cooled two-stroke engine only used in K cars. Eventually, it became a four-stroke engine with a higher compression ratio and more power. When this jump occurred, it was also provided with a water cooling system. Regardless, all EKs are tiny engines with very little performance to offer. For the applications it was given, this made sense, but the EK is certainly the least desirable engine on this list, assuming automotive use, for its lack of power. The EK will start us off in the D tier. Subaru's only three-cylinder engine was known as the EF, and could be had as either the EF10 or the EF12 depending on displacement. This compact engine came with a single overhead cam and 9 valves total in the EF12 over the EF10's 6. It had a narrow band of applications, but a great reputation for reliability within them. Many owners of the Subaru Justy have reached over 200,000 miles with this little engine, certainly impressive for how hard it must work to get a car moving. The EF was a solid package, offering simplicity and reliability in a small and lightweight engine. Overall, it's worthy of the B tier. Now for the main portion of this video, the four cylinders, most of which are boxer engines. If you're unaware, a boxer engine is when the four cylinders are horizontally opposed in a flat layout. The EA was the first boxer engine from Subaru, as well as their first ever all-aluminum engine. By design, they were incredibly simple, with either a pushrod setup or a single overhead cam for a valve train. Most EA engines were naturally aspirated, but the EA81 and EA82 received a turbo, getting them to make as much as 190 horsepower out of a 1.8-liter engine back in the 80s. The EA71, 81, and 82 were quite reliable with minimal issues, while the EA61 and 62 in particular became known for blown head gaskets, the thing that makes a Subaru. For the initial leap in design and how impressive the turbocharged iterations were, the EA will still land in the upper B tier. The EN, or Clover 4, is Subaru's only ever four-cylinder to not be in a boxer format. This inline 4 was the successor to the EK two-cylinder and aimed for efficiency in its small package. It was quite lightweight and came with a supercharger in the EN07. This same engine was the first to jump to dual overhead cams, and the later ones were given 16 valves to maximize airflow and raise the fuel economy. However, even with the improved airflow and a supercharger to shove more air into the combustion chambers, the most powerful of the EN engines landed at just 63 horsepower. Considering that the EN was used as late as 2012, this is simply far too little by modern standards. Don't get me wrong though, you can still have plenty of fun beating around in a Subaru sandbar with one of these under the hood. There isn't anything major that's wrong with the EN, and it does keep its promise in delivering good gas mileage. However, for its weak performance, it will still fall into the C tier. The Subaru EJ is undoubtedly the most impactful and historically relevant engine on this list, birthing the rally legend known as the WRX. Every WRX came with an EJ engine up until 2015, with the WRX STI having one until 2021 when it was eventually discontinued. The EJ is a very advanced boxer engine with variable valve timing, multi-point injection, and a closed deck block in the best versions like the EJ22. The EJ22, for example, made a ton of power for its displacement and can easily be modified to produce far more. Its closed deck allows for the engine to withstand far more boost pressure and thus power output. When you hear an EJ, the sound is unmistakable thanks to its unequal length headers that put out that distinct boxer rumble. All pistons and connecting rods come forged with molybdenum piston coatings. Over the years, the EJ accumulated various rewards and gained Subaru and the WRX worldwide recognition through winning the World Rally Championship on multiple occasions. I will add an important distinction here though. The naturally aspirated 2.5-liter EJ engines like the EJ 251 and 252 are known for terrible head gasket issues. A better gasket was used on most of the turbo engines, but the EJ 255 is still problematic and also has issues with oil leaks. These three engines are still high performing, but will go into the B tier for their issues, while the remainder of the EJ family, especially the EJ 22, belong in the S tier considering what they've done for the Subaru brand and how great they truly are. Next up is the EE, the first diesel boxer to ever be created. It only exists in a 2-liter displacement and produces impressive torque figures. The engine itself is small in profile and lightweight, also striving to meet stringent emissions requirements. Equipped with a diesel particulate filter and exhaust gas recirculation, the EE is choked down enough to produce limited power. The concept of a diesel boxer engine is certainly unique and was incredibly smooth from behind the wheel. That said, it didn't come without its issues. Most prominent on the earlier units, the crankshaft can spontaneously snap into multiple pieces. There were also issues with the engine blocks having a lack of structural integrity. What's odd about this is that the architecture of the EE is quite close to that of the EJ engines, yet the reliability was so much worse. My personal theory is that the higher compression ratio of a diesel increased the forces the crankshaft had to endure until fatigue failure eventually occurred. Either way, although cool concept, failures of the most important component with an engine will land the EE into the D tier. Subaru's all-aluminum FA series is what replaced the EJ in the WRX in 2015 and is still currently used in it. It's also the engine responsible for the wildly popular BRZ in both the first generation with the FA20 and the second with the larger FA24. I personally have owned both a 2018 WRX and a 2014 BRZ, and thus the FA20 in both its naturally aspirated and turbocharged formats. Without a doubt, I definitely abused both cars, and each of them stood up to it with no issue and were always a fun drive. The FA20 also modifies well and makes more power with small changes, especially true for the WRX. It's designed to keep a low height, lowering the center of gravity and improving the handling of the cars it's found in. The FA20 has won awards in the past and is a reliable engine with respectable performance. On the other hand, the FA24 is a nearly identical engine with a larger bore and displacement, but it does come with one significant issue. There have been reports of premature engine failures due to the RTV used on the oil pan rather than a traditional sealing gasket. This is an issue that can be mitigated with aftermarket solutions, but one that has caused a fair mistrust of their ability to endure abuse. Overall, the FA series is another phenomenal boxer engine, well deserving of the A tier. For the next time you wrench on your engine or car, I want to quickly show you something that will save you a ton of time and effort. You can access the exact full repair and maintenance manual that dealerships use to get step-by-step pictured instructions on how to do anything you can think of. Just take a look at how detailed these instructions are, with images and diagrams that make things crystal clear. One of these shop manuals will enable you to have everything you could ever need all in one place and delivered in a format that's easy to understand, making you ready to tackle any job. Check out eManual online, where a quick search will turn up a manual for any year of any vehicle. Grabbing one of these inexpensive manuals will save you potentially thousands of dollars in return simply by keeping you out of the dealership. It's also a great way to learn more about vehicles in general while helping you avoid problems along the way. Right now, you can get 22% off any manual on the entire website using my discount code REDLINE22, which is linked along with their website in the description. I really think this is an amazing resource for the price. Grab yourself one now and thank yourself later. The FB engine is the modern-day successor to the EJ, being a clean slate design meant to take over in its applications. Design engineers aim to improve fuel economy and reliability. One significant change came in the form of a timing chain rather than a timing belt to eliminate a failure point and maintenance item. It comes with dual overhead cams, a variable valve timing system, and a high compression ratio even with a turbo mounted. This is the engine that technically led to the development of the FA, although they are quite different by design. It must be said that the FB engine is not very powerful, but everything about that makes sense. The FB took over from the EJ in all Subaru's commuter car applications, while the FA took over in sportier cars like the BRZ and WRX. In the application of the FB, reliability and fuel economy are the biggest concerns, along with having enough torque to make acceleration feel easy. These engines do those three things at a very high level, with virtually no reliability concern and great efficiency. For daily driving applications, the FB might be one of Subaru's best and will land in the A tier. Next up is the Subaru CB engine, their newest generation of boxers. All CB engines come with dual overhead cams, 16 valves, and variable valve timing, making for a highly fuel-efficient combustion process. Additionally, the CB uses lean burn combustion to further increase efficiency, while a turbo is still used to maintain performance output. It's been said that in its few applications, 40 miles per gallon is to be expected. Since this platform has been out for such a short time, it's hard to know what level of reliability to expect. From what owners have already seen, the CV is a great engine for daily driving, non-performance use, but doesn't seem to have much tuning potential. This is a great modern engine for commuting purposes, but not much more, a description that fits the B tier. We'll wrap things up with the three 6-cylinder engines from Subaru. The first was the flat 6 known as the ER, an all-aluminum single-cam unit with a rather low power output. It produces a very unique sound similar to Porsches of the era. An interesting feature is the split timing belt, where there is one belt that drives each cylinder bank's valve train. Being Subaru's first go at a flat 6, the ER suffered from a few issues. Although the general structure of the engine is very similar to the EA82, the ER27's timing belts go bad frequently, and oil leaks are a regular occurrence. There are a few other small issues here and there, so between reliability concerns and a power output below most of their 4-cylinder engines, the ER27 will land in the C tier. Subaru's second flat 6 was a 3.3-liter known as the EG. Although all aluminum like the ER, the EG came with a cast iron cylinder liner, giving it a slight boost in reliability and how much power it could handle. That said, it made significantly more power than the ER, although still about the same as the boxer engines of its time. With only one application, the EG33 isn't a common engine by any stretch of the imagination. But from the scarce information I can find, the EG33 is a solid unit and puts out moderate performance. It did condense the timing system to a single timing belt rather than the double system used in the ER, eliminating that failure point altogether. As a whole, the EG is a decent engine with no major downfalls and will earn the B tier. Finally, the EZ30 and larger EZ36 were Subaru's last flat 6 engines produced as late as 2019. If you plan to buy a 6-cylinder from Subaru, most would agree that this is the one to go for. Performance figures were more than adequate, and these engines can take modification well. Oddly enough, there was a concept car released with an EZ30 that had twin turbos thrown on it, something the aftermarket could still allow you to do. The EZ uses a cast iron cylinder sleeve like the EG for extra combustion chamber rigidity and has been said to be the most reliable of these Subaru flat 6 engines. Higher mileage ones can have mild oil leaks if not properly maintained, but if you treat an EZ well, it'll do the same for you. Also worth mentioning is that the EZ36 is one of the best sounding engines to come out of Subaru and an overall great product. The Subaru EZ will wrap things up in the A tier. So there's every Subaru engine ranked. The Boxer is certainly a very unique engine, and I loved every minute of owning the two that I did. If there's anything I missed or anything that you would change, be sure to leave a comment and let us know. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out the rest of the series in the Engine Tier List playlist. Thanks for watching and have a great day.